much of a gambler are you?
It's funny that you ask this question because I was at the grocery store the other week, and whenever they ask me how I want my bags, paper or plastic, I say dealer's choice. And this time, the kid working the counter finally called me on it. Like, somebody actually remarked on what I said, which I've said so much I don't think about it being weird anymore. And he's like, "Oh, are you a gambler?" I'm like, "Oh, no, it's just a turn of phrase." And he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to learn how to gamble. I was hoping you'd give me some advice."
Well, it starts with real small things like this, paper or plastic.
What's
Just
the
gotta
payout?
work your way up, right?
Plastic, right?
That's funny. Have you been out to Vegas or stuff like that? Have you gambled at all to like?
If I would have been to Vegas, Kyle, I would have told you.
I mean, it's never come up. Like, there's still stories we could like. I don't know every detail of your life.
I feel like that's pretty notable. I have been to 2 local casinos briefly. There's one casino we have that's very nice, and I'd love to go back. I've just never found myself in a social situation where I can convince anybody else to go with me.
Gotcha. I've never been to Vegas. I've been inside a couple casinos. The only kind of real gambling I did was with their like, "Hey, here's the complimentary like $20 that you can like start out with." And that was it. And that was all I did. So maybe one day I would like to go out there and do all of that stuff. But I asked you this question. I started out this wild and crazy podcast that we got here because I did something very adult this week. I talked to a financial planner.
Wow.
And it was a family friend. I'll spare you all the details because I also don't want to put all my money info out there. But it was, I've been meaning to do this for a while. And with the move and my job hiring me full time and all that stuff, I was like, all right, it's finally like time that I need to do this. But one of the things they had me do to kind of help them understand me and my situation and my money and what they kind of can and can't do, or what I feel is, since I'm essentially going to be handing some of my money to them to kind of move it around and do all of that stuff. They were basically, they gave me a quiz to be like, how risky are you with your money here? How much of a gambler are you? And
I like that they're not telling you how risky you should be. They're asking, how risky are you?
Well, sure. I mean, there's people who don't necessarily trust whether it's the market or these financial advisors or banking institution, and just want to keep it like, hey, I know that this is maybe a good way to, in the long term, invest in some things, to start a retirement fund or to start a savings account with a high interest rate, or to save up for college for your kids or something like that, right? Like, there's some good things that you need to do with there, but then there's some people who also have money, just kind of extra money to, hey, maybe we can invest it in this thing, and you might lose a significant thing, but if this pays off, like, man, you're gonna be rolling in dough here. So I took this quiz, and it rates you on a scale of, I'm assuming, 1 to 100 on like how risky you are with this. It said it had 15 questions, but it calculates your score before you finish all 50, or most often like before you finish all 15. And I have to say, I took this quiz twice, because the first time I got
the first time it put me in Slytherin, and I'm like, I'm not a Slytherin, I'm a Gryffindor.
It really did. It gave me a 96. And I was like, oh God, whoa.
For risk?
Like, Yeah,
You're
for risk.
97% risk. You're dangerous. You live on the edge.
Yeah,
You've got a knife between your teeth. Carl, put that knife down.
Danger's my middle name, but I'm not that risky. Okay, like hold your horses there, dude. So I had to retake it, and then it finally gave me a number. I was like, all right, that makes more sense. That's that I feel comfortable with. And but yeah, got a 96. Just spend it all, bet it all, go it all in. I'll keep
put it all in the ponies.
Right? Yeah. That said, welcome to number 190 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, the risky one. That's me. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by the safe one, Melissa Wilkinson.
Yes, it's me. Very safe.
Goodness gracious, Melissa, how has your week been? Have you been doing good?
I am doing well, thank you. We had several new trailers to talk about this week. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
And an even better surprise was that I had time on Monday to talk about them.
Yeah. So we'll get to them when we do our housekeeping and stuff. But there was one that came out Monday morning that I was like, man, I'd love to do a reaction to this. But Melissa, like, always works extra hard on Mondays. Like, it's not a good day for her. Like, oh well. Darn it.
I can make it work
that night, and it was just like, right. Well, now we kind of need to do this.
Right, we got to talk about Thor. We got to talk about Gore the God Butcher.
Exactly. So we did that. We'll get to those again on housekeeping and stuff. But man, I'm excited for a new Mission Impossible movie. And, Thor will be here in like a month and a week ish.
Yeah, not long.
Something.
Thor will
like
be here. Welcome, Thor.
Yeah, indeed. I've opened up a can of mead to.
It's the time.
Yeah, it's
Mountain Dew time, everybody.
Hard Mountain Dew Baja Blast. I have been trying a different flavor of this Hard Mountain Dew stuff every week. For the past couple weeks, there'll be one more next week, and then I will have collected all of the Infinity Dews, and I will rule alcohol or something.
Instead of a gauntlet, you've got one of those beer can hats.
Great stuff. So yeah, this is the Baja Blast one. These guys are only 5% alcohol, 0 sugar, all of that stuff. Right now, the like black cherry one that I had last week was my favorite, the Mountain Dew Code Red one. So we'll see how this guy is.
Oh, you look puzzled.
I feel like this one is the subtlest in its flavor.
You know the nuances of Baja Blast. It's an incredibly, it's complex on the palate.
Yeah, notes of tropical punch and Baja, right? You know, no, like the regular Mountain Dew one very much was just like, oh yeah, this is Mountain Dew, but alcoholic. The black cherry one, I felt. I put that one as my favorite because it had a very distinct flavor. Like, it is cherry. And I know that can read to a lot of people as like, oh, that's medicine. But I ended up liking that one a lot because I felt like it was a little bit more distinct. This one feels subtler. It's smoother. It's not as like, oh yeah, that's Mountain Dew. It's just like,
this is the thinking man's Mountain Dew.
You're right. It's not recognizable immediately as like, oh, that's Baja Blast. Like,
yeah,
it's just like it's a fruity tropical like alcoholic drink. It's good. It's not bad. It's
Nice.
the can that I have here is black and this like really light teal, like kind
Yeah.
of bluish green,
The
greenish
color
blue.
of Baja Blast itself.
Yeah, exactly. And it has a shark on the can. So there you go.
For a sec, I
That's
was going to
your,
go
Mountain Dew minute.
rawr. And then I remembered sharks don't make a noise. Sharks don't say anything.
Sharks don't make a noise.
They don't growl. They're not a bear.
I don't think I've ever thought about that. Do fish make
Right?
noise?
Like they go like glub. We know glub. We know splash.
But like, is that actually like them making a noise, or is that the like air bubbles popping and like escape? Like,
Right.
do fish actually make noise?
Do sharks make noise? Google, tell us. As a general rule, they don't make sounds.
As a general rule, that means there's exceptions.
Across sharks' 400 to 500 species, no one has ever found an organ even capable of making sound. The closest is a New Zealand shark that barks by expelling water. Thank you, Atlas Obscura.
That's interesting. Where it manipulates the space around it to make sound, right? It expels water out. Because dolphins can make sounds.
Yes, we know that sound.
Sounds, but are whales are mammals? Are dolphins mammals too? No.
I think so.
Yes. I don't know.
No, hold on. Okay, to be a mammal, like you have like milk and live babies that aren't in eggs. Are dolphins mammals? Just tell me yes or no.
Come on, Dr. Google, you're failing us here.
Are dolphins mammals? These are 5 important facts you need to know. Yes or no? They're warm-blooded. They give birth to live young. That's the secret.
Okay.
They have hair. They lactate. There's dolphin milk. If there's milk, you're a mammal.
Okay. Well, there you go. Very educational on this podcast here. As we said, hard Mountain Dew Baja Blast is the thinking man's alcohol.
If you're thinking and you're drinking, it's hard Baja Blast. Asking the deep questions like what noises do fish make besides glub?
All right, Melissa, I need to get back to what we were kind of talking about at the end of last week's podcast.
Oh, yes.
As we got so rudely interrupted by your router or who knows what. Our internet wasn't working as well as we would like, but we were talking about fancy parties. Because we have recently watched Our Flag Means Death, which is a fantastic show. You all should go watch it. We covered it on our podcast called the Whatnauts Review Show. So go check that out as well. But yeah, we were talking about fancy parties and like what fancy parties you've been to, but we never got to the second half of that. So, Melissa, take it away. What is the second half of that?
I wanted to ask you, what's the fanciest party you've ever been to and you weren't able to come up with anything more than your standard wedding or prom?
Right.
But I also more specifically wanted to ask, what is the fanciest party you would like to go to? What's your limit? How many forks is too many forks?
I feel like my fancy parties aren't the fancy parties that like most people. Well, I don't want to say most people would go to, but like don't think of as parties. If that makes sense. Like I've always wanted to go to E3, which I know that's not really going to happen because E3's kind of been on the downward slope for a long time.
Yeah.
It got canceled 2 years ago. It got canceled this year. It was digital only last year. It's on its way out. I don't think I'll get to go to E3, but that's not really a party, right?
Yeah.
They might have some like after hours party that's happening at some local venue or something like that, but it's also not fancy.
Could be fancy. You don't know.
I mean,
I mean,
hey,
nobody there's
right?
wearing a tux, but there's probably like very nice champagne.
At certain things,
The most
right,
expensive DJ.
right? There might be some stuff like that. I've definitely heard stories of stuff like that happened. But like, I could see myself like going to like dressing up and going to like a really fancy like movie premiere
Ooh.
or like an award show. Like, I'm not big on the Oscars or anything per se, but something like that I think would be really interesting to go to. And to to have a nice dinner there, to be dressed up and just have fun watching a movie or talking about some kind of like entertainment thing like that would be a lot of fun. But if it's actually like, you are cordially invited to Her Majesty's 200th birthday, then like I don't
boy.
I'd be like,
Kyle, how could you turn down going to a 200th birthday?
I would go to a 200th birthday, but I think you get my gist, right? Where
your limit is the word cordially.
I never want to be cordially invited anywhere. I think that would be
I think a movie premiere is a good sort of party to go to. There's no forks, so that no fancy silverware. That question is removed. It's off the table. I think you maybe still can get popcorn.
Sure.
Just might come in like a fancy little paper container with a unique flavor, Maybe, and it's like not super greasy, so you don't get it on your tux. You might not even have to wear a tux. You could just wear a very nice suit,
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. I'd love it if we could go to a movie premiere. Like, we don't have to interview anybody. Doesn't need to be a great movie. Like if they make Morbius 2 and they're like, do you guys want to go? I won't say no to that.
Yeah. It's especially because I don't know what it takes for like a website like us, like the Whatnauts, to get press passes. I've mentioned this before. I would love to like one day figure out like, hey, can we go to our local theaters and like talk to a manager to be like, hey, we're a website. We have like over 700 podcasts, like all of that stuff. We do movie podcasts, we do comic book stuff. Like, we're a pop culture website. We cover this stuff. Do you guys do press screenings? Can we get in early somehow? How does that work? And yeah, if one day we could get invited to like an actual like premiere of like, it's the latest Avengers film, I'd be like, yes. Or as you said, if it's Morbius 2, I'd still say yes.
We gotta find like a very niche franchise and get very deep on it. Like, what's the next Poirot movie? Let's get intense about Poirot.
Look, I'm gunning for the sponsorship with Mountain Dew at some point, right? We have our Mountain Dew wiki little button we can hit, and it takes us over there. Like I think we can get there if we get sponsored, or if like the movie or TV show is also sponsored by like a sponsorship that we have, which we don't have sponsorships, and we probably won't ever have sponsorships. But still,
we gotta believe. We gotta try. We just gotta practice. I can talk about my Brooklyn and duvet. I have a lot of things to say about it. Very soft, very crisp. Beautiful color. Look at that. It's lavender.
All of the underwear and socks that I own are Me Undies. I have been converted to Me Undies. I have some like t-shirts and stuff that are Me Undies, right? Like, I just look, I am the quintessential podcast advertisement slut because I've bought in. I've bought in.
I have
I've
to,
done the
honestly.
things. I have a quip. Tooth.
Oh, how's the quip?
Brush.
Show me your teeth. Does it work?
I mean, my teeth are still here. Hopefully, I think. 5 stars. My teeth are still here.
They are not gone. My teeth did not leave.
It's an okay tooth brush, to be honest. I don't think it's really anything fancy. Getting something like a Sonic Hair is probably better. But they send me toothpaste every like month or so. They send me a new battery. I know you can also get like mouthwash and floss with them too. So it's nice to just not have to think about like buying new toothpaste or stuff. They always just send me stuff. So yeah, I like it. I enjoy it. So
I gotta say, I have thoroughly enjoyed everything I've ever bought off of a podcast or YouTube video.
Pretty much, yeah. Indeed. So maybe one day. But
so if we had a sponsor and the sponsor was connected to a movie like MeUndies the Motion Picture, maybe we could get in there.
I mean, hey, they've made the Emoji movie. They're making a Play-Doh movie, I think.
A Play-Doh movie?
Right? Like, how sweet would it also be? Like, can we get sponsored by, like, Marvel Unlimited? Like, I would enjoy that. DC Universe Infinite. Hello? Please, Comixology. Hello?
This is our goal. We need to get into one sponsored party once in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're great company. We can mingle. We can mix the room. We won't have too many drinks. We'll look great. We'll be your friends. Do you need somebody to like watch the door? Like, I'll help do that. Do you need volunteers?
We'll keep the bad podcast out.
This is the key. Is the fanciest parties I've ever been to were parties I volunteered at with my college community service group. I worked some event at like the Chase Park Plaza, like some fancy hotel in like Clayton, where you go to the bathroom and they've got individual warm hand towels. That's how fancy it was.
Wow. So again, not fancy, but maybe the most fancy in terms of like maybe probably could have been a scene in a movie that you've seen is when I was in college and was on my dance crew. Yes, I did dance back in college. We performed around the state sometimes. And we went down to like Virginia Tech and we performed at a venue, which was also a club. And so afterwards, we're all just there hanging out and partying and stuff like that. So like that is maybe the like wildest stuff that I've been to is like dancer parties and stuff like that. Those are always fun because everyone actually knows how to dance, and it's not. It's
that
not
does
just
sound
like
nice.
Right? Yeah, like it's not just like everyone's awkwardly like
right. One guy tries to do the worm and then has to lie down the rest of the evening.
Though we would also get very drunk at these, and I've had. Like at like the next night, like I've had people like after we woke up that next day just be like, Kyle, what did I do last night? I'm just like, well, you pop locked and dropped it, and then you fell over face first.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had some fun stories with that stuff. But that was the
not
I don't
me.
know.
You know what? The fancy
like specific though.
The fanciest party I want to go to, I want to wear a gown and ascend a staircase.
Send a staircase. Very aspirational.
Or dust and a staircase. Either
Sure,
works, you know, depends on where the viewer of this film in my mind is standing.
Right. Is this like you entering in the party, or is this you the center of attention at the party?
Oh, I'm not
Disney
the center of attention. I'm
princess style, like descending the stairs.
I'm thinking Hermione at the Triwizard Ball.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's what I want.
Gotcha. Okay. I see. I feel like if I was ever to go to like an actual like fancy thing, I want an outfit change. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What was that? There was some movie recently, I think, where someone it's like some spy movie or something like that. Who knows what? I have no idea. But yeah, they're like walking up and they're in this like this one outfit, and then they just like pull it off, and it transforms into something else. Like I don't remember who I'm thinking of, but like I want something like that, where I can do like my magical girl spin, my Wonder Woman Linda Carter spin, and all of a sudden I'm someone else, right? That's what I want.
Right. I support that. I have seen some incredible costume changes right in front of my eyes on stage at live theater that I don't understand how it was done.
Right.
I gotta see more of that. Well, why is it just for live theater and like the Met Gala? Why can't you do a prom dress on that caliber? How much of an outfit change can I have as a guest to a wedding?
Yeah, right. That would be funny. But yeah, like I don't envision myself going to many fancy parties. I'm not really a fan of dressing up in a traditional sense. I like it if I can be a little bit more modern with it. And then also in the sense, like, can I wear sneakers like that match my tie, that also matches like like that? Like, I still want to be stylish and looking good, and not like, whoa, dude, like you can't walk in here with that outfit. But like, yeah, I want it to be my own thing, if that makes sense. And I don't own a tailored
Kyle style
suit, right? Yeah, I would love to one day own like a tailored suit, but I don't have one, so I don't feel like I don't know. It's like a normal suit.
When I wrote down this question, I was thinking of like a fancy dinner party, because there's a fancy dinner party in this episode of Our Flag Means Death where Blackbeard is confronted by too many forks, and that's what I was thinking of. And I was picturing throwing a dinner party and you showing up in like a turtleneck and a blazer. And it was the funniest thing I'd ever thought of.
Just looking like that one picture of the Rock when he's younger, and he has the turtleneck and the gold chain and the fanny pack, right?
I'm picturing like turtleneck, blazer. You've suddenly grown a Van Dyke beard.
God, all right. Painted it on like black.
Yes.
Beard,
yeah. Don't have a beard painted on.
Exactly. Oh God. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not much for dressing up fancy unless I can put my own spin on it. So that's me. I
remember my aunt got married when I was like 14, and I bought like a new dress, and they had like a matching cardigan and like lace tights and little shoes, and I got these flower barrettes, and like I wanted a parasol, and my mom's like, you have to stop. You can't. We won't even be outside. It's a night reception at the VFW hall. You're not getting a parasol.
When fancy parties go too far.
Just carrying a parasol around indoors at night at not at all a fancy gathering.
God, that's funny.
They did have butter birds. They had carved butter. There were little birds.
Carved butter? What? What is this? Since when? Why?
Kyle, we have talked about butter sculptures before. This is a fact.
Have
then I was telling you about the big butter sculptures they have at the Iowa State Fair. No, if you go to like a nice wedding reception or some fancy party, instead of having like if you have dinner rolls, instead of having like the little pats of butter, the only food that comes in pat form, there will be tiny little butter sculptures where they will take like a big block of butter and they'll carve it into two delicate little love birds for your aunt and her new husband.
A picture of a butter bird. It's a bird sculpture. It looks more like a goose or something, but yeah, it's entirely made out of butter. It's kind of wild.
Oh wait, a butter. I googled butter birds and it gave me actual birds.
Yeah, same. But like in like the like third row down, there is a bird that's actually made out of butter.
Exactly right. These are very fancy. I'm talking about. Oh, you see this like this butter sculpture that's a turkey, like it's a novelty for your Thanksgiving table. That's the sort of stuff it was.
I got
little butter birds.
Okay. Interesting. Weird. Humans are weird. Why do we do this stuff? It's strange.
Why don't we do it more? Why don't we encounter more butter sculptures?
More butter birds, please.
This is one of, like, if we are able to do more in-person podcasting and expand it into very elaborate challenges for ourselves, I want us to do the butter carving episode.
The Rooster Teeth podcast used to do a steak off every year in which they would cook steaks and like eat it and judge it, like who made the best steak. And then they started making a pancake podcast where they just make pancakes while they podcast.
Incredible.
Not a competition or stuff like that. We'll just make them and have fun and have all sorts of weird and wacky toppings. And this year, they got the idea to do a bean off in which they cook different styles of beans. And it was ridiculous. It was a couple weeks ago.
That's so broad. If your topic is just beans, that could be anything.
Yeah. So one person made a bean dip. One person made beans and toast. One person made like actual beans that you might have as like a side dish to a meal. One made more like a breakfast style, like these are the beans that you would have in like a breakfast taco kind of thing there. But yeah, that's what they did. They just had like their whole podcast was them just hanging out, talking and cooking beans.
I googled biggest bean, and of course it's giving me pictures of the sculpture in Chicago, which I've seen.
Sure,
yes, I know the bean. I really wish there was a bean the size of a baked potato. Like, I'm not having beans as my side dish. I am having bean as my side dish.
It's
one big bean.
Is a potato just a big bean?
It isn't. No. Potatoes and beans are different.
Dream big, Melissa. I feel like it is though. Like it's almost a similar consistency.
What if potatoes were as little as beans and beans were as big as potatoes?
I mean, they do have like smaller like cherry like you know how they have like the cherry tomato, like they have that size
cherub tomatoes, little cherub potatoes.
What if they had jelly bean sized potatoes? Bite-sized potatoes, popcorn potatoes.
Popcorn potatoes! Bring it! I want that! God, tater tots out, popcorn potatoes in.
That'd be good. That'd be good fun. I think this is a good moment for us to take a break for housekeeping. But we
need to rest.
Yeah. We will take a quick break and we will be right back. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and a thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/The Whatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you'd like to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting us. It means a lot. If you guys want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/The Whatnauts. Yeah, you guys can get your name read out on the show if you were at the $5 tier or higher.
We'll read your name, you and your bonus content, other perks.
Absolutely. Right before we recorded this Captain's Log, we recorded a bit for our Patreon exclusive podcast that will be going up in the next week or two here. So we've started a whole pilots club where we watch the pilot of a TV show and talk about it and stuff like that. So there you go. Cool things that we've been up to here at the Whatnauts. We have yet to talk about it, but I just beat Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2077. So I will be talking about it on our next Crossplay, our video game podcast Crossplay. That game was real good. I liked it a lot. But if you guys want to hear more in-depth, full thoughts, I will be talking about it there.
After such a long journey, I'm happy that you've gotten to complete playing Cyberpunk, and it was a positive experience.
Finally. Yeah, absolutely was. But yeah, we're also getting ready for the summer game fest stuff, which is kind of the new thing instead of E3. That's happening in a couple weeks here, so stay tuned to Crossplay for more news on all of that. On the review show, we mentioned that we did our Flag Means Death this past week. And we will be talking about season 2 of Fringe this coming week, which will be a fantastic one. That's a great show. I like it a lot. All of that stuff. And then let's see, the Reactor Core trailers. There's been all sorts of
trailers.
Stuff here. Yeah. We got a new trailer for Thor Love and Thunder and a new trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is kind of wild that we actually got a trailer of this, even though it's not out till next year.
I watched the trailer again, and I did notice how much of the trailer is score played over footage with no sound. Like they've shot it, but they're probably still working on all the ADR and sound mixing and Foley.
Sure. Yes. Totally understandable. They're are they done filming both of them? Because I know they're filming back to back. I'm wondering if that's why, and there is gonna be a shorter time period between releases of that stuff. That would be nice because I don't want to have to wait 2 or 3 years to see part 2. But I dug what they were doing with that trailer. It was very well put together, very much had a specific tone, and it felt nostalgic. It felt like the end of an era, which was interesting. But to go off of what you just said, Kingdom Hearts has often done trailers where they do a similar thing, where it's like there's no sound effects, there's no sound, there's maybe a few voice lines and maybe a song here and there, and it sounds bad. And it sounds
No.
awful, and it just sounds like, what were they thinking putting this out? Like, this is terrible. Good to know that somewhere it works. You can
Uh-huh.
absolutely do this and make it feel like a complete trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it absolutely was a vibe, and I was digging it. Yeah, those are out. We did our reactions to Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part
Mm-hmm.
One, well as the new Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, which is out in
Yes.
like a month and a half here.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. We have Miss Marvel kind of starting around the same time, right? Like
Yeah,
we have
this mid-June.
something like that. I think we have. Oh God, I forgot. When does Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I
When's
thought
that
it was
out?
supposed to come out today. Is it
Oh
tomorrow?
shit! Is
When?
it actually today?
I might
When
have that wrong.
does
When is he?
Obi-Wan come out? Yeah. No, don't give me images. May 27th. What's today?
Oh, what's
The
Oh,
25th.
it's
So
the
it comes
25th.
out
Oh,
on
it's
Friday.
Friday.
That's right. So they
Oh, right. This is a Friday
moved
one.
Obi-Wan to the Fridays where they kept Miss Marvel, which I think starts on the 8th. Let me double check on that. When does Miss Marvel come out? June 8th. Yeah. So
Okay.
that comes out on the 8th. And so yeah, I guess we have like a month and a half then
Yeah, 2
until
weeks.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Wow. I forgot it came out this week. Fuck, man. Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Getting out here real soon. I'll have to see if Ignacio's up for
Mm.
doing some reactions to that. Because I would love to do some reactions to that week to week, all that stuff. But yeah, that's all the cool stuff we've been up to here at the Whatnauts. I know that's kind of been a long housekeeping segment, but
Yeah.
it's fun to talk about that stuff of like,
Our
hey, we did
house is
this.
big.
Go check it out. We do a lot of fun stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
So Melissa, we have to get this out of the way first and foremost. There's a new Daredevil show in the works at Disney Plus.
Yeah.
This comes by way of Variety. I actually saw IGN mentioning it, but they were citing Variety that they did all of this stuff. I'm excited because this is essentially going to be season 4 of the Netflix Daredevil show.
Which means I have to catch up on season 3. I have not seen it. Don't know what he did.
Good. So good. But yeah, because like that was always the thing of like, they got the rights to those shows back? Are they gonna reboot the character and stuff like that? And Kevin Feige was like, no, it's Charlie Cox. He's our Daredevil. Like if we're gonna do something with him in the MCU, it's him. So yeah, I'm excited about this. And I saw one of my other friends posting a link in one of the discords that I'm in to a report that Kristen Ritter is reportedly back as Jessica Jones in some kind of MCU project. They did not say what. This was not a confirmation of like more Jessica Jones season 4 or 5 or however much they did with that one. It could be that she's in this Daredevil show. According to a comic book podcast that I listened to, there's a guy that works at another pop culture website who's like, hey, we've been getting rumblings of Kristen Ritter and Mike Coulter. They've been seen together quite a bit, and they've been tweeting some cryptic stuff out. So we might get to see some of the Defenders. I say some because they probably don't want Finn Jones back as Iron Fist because he was not all that good. But I would love to see them all back. Like I would love this new Daredevil show to focus more on the like street level characters
Yeah.
in general, right?
Mm.
So I think that would be a lot of fun. I also in that Discord was like, hey, what if season 2 they could
Ah.
include them? That would be
Oh,
interesting.
I'd like that.
Like, what if the Defenders fought Thanos or something
Oh,
like
yes.
that? Or
Right. This is how they
something like
can
that would be neat.
they can resurrect that deleted scene where Doctor Strange takes Thanos in front of the living tribunal, but now it is
Sure.
Matt Murdock, not as Daredevil, but as Matt Murdock Esquire, the lawyer.
There you go. The Murdoch Tribunal, and they get all the different people who've played Dared. It's Charlie Cox and it's Ben Affleck, and there has to be some animated one that they can get in there, like the voice actor in there, right?
One of the heads is just a cartoon,
right? God, that'd be really funny.
I love that concept that the living tribunal's 3 heads are like the 3 faces of actors who played the same role.
That's really funny. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. But yeah, so I think that's good news for the most part.
Yes.
I know some people are kind of worried that it's gonna be a toned down version of the show because those Netflix shows were TVMA. They were bloody and violent and gory. And I don't know if they're gonna continue that lineage or if they will lighten them up a bit to make it a bit more palatable for more people. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. It's exciting to see these characters move forward. We do need just more street level stuff. I think that's something the MCU is moving towards. It's a good balance between cosmic and magic and just like regular street crime and like political intrigue, scrolls, everything. Keep it balanced.
Sure thing indeed. I thought this was ridiculous. I have to say, I also saw this Winnie the Pooh, but it's a horror story. I saw this tweet again. Oops, just hit my mic. I saw another tweet by IGN. They're not really citing any source.
Right. There's like, here, look. Yeah.
So I've never heard of this. So I guess this is an actual thing. Let me pull this up on screen here. But this is a tweet from IGN that says Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a horror retelling of the famous legend of Winnie the Pooh. This, of course, is not being done by Disney. Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain in January of 2022. So I don't know what to make of this, but congratulations, world that's out there. My
immediate concern is Winnie the Pooh being described as a famous legend. He's not a character of folklore. There's no legend to be told about Winnie the Pooh. He's done no great deeds. He got his butt stuck in a tree hole.
He's up there with Batman, right? Like the legendary Dark Knight. And
our
Winnie
most
the Pooh,
legendary heroes. John Henry. Paul Bunyan, Winnie the Pooh.
Johnny Appleseed.
Right.
Winnie the Pooh.
This is what he's not an active character. Like, he eats honey, he lives in a tree, he's friends with Piglet. That's it. I don't what does he do? What are his conflicts? He eats honey. He gets his big bottom stuck in things because he's too round.
It could be like, I can imagine this as like, because Christopher Robin is based off of a real person, right? So it could be like, I'm not up on the lore of Winnie the Pooh. So So I like, what if the creator made Winnie the Pooh for the real life Christopher Robin, and instead of being like, oh, thank you, that's sweet that you made up this like story, like he's terrified of this thing, of this like bear that's out to get him with it's the like, I can see that at like, not that I'd be interested in that. I think it's ridiculous, but I can see it being made, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I can see this in the same genre space as like a Five Nights at Freddy's or a Willy's Wonderland or the Banana Splits movie.
Sure, yeah. Just that like that like why is Chucky a movie? I don't know. I guess people are scared of the dolls. I guess people are scared of like weird cartoon characters. Every like these figments of their imagination, right? Like,
this reminds me of the beginning of Rubber. You just walk out and say, "Why is Chucky a movie?"
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
We have to mention Rubber every once in a while to keep the curse alive.
We do. Go check out our discussion of Rubber on the review show. That was a great
Go watch
movie.
Rubber. Go start Rubber. Don't
watch it.
Look up anything about it. Just start the movie Rubber. Just do that. Do that for me, please. As a personal request.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Melissa,
I have a question.
Go for it.
I do have questions. I mentioned, again, speaking of our episode on Our Flag Means Death, that I really loved that show. After it was over and I was frustrated that there was not more, I was like, what's the next closest thing to this that I can watch? And I wound up watching Muppet Treasure Island. And this is not an original question. I know this has been around Twitter. It's a popular subject, but we've never discussed it, so it's original to the show.
Tackle it here, yeah.
What other stories need a Muppet version? I think everything does. We should Muppet everything.
I feel like you need something that is like really dark and gritty. Like you need like The Departed, but it's Muppets.
Oh, I like that.
Right. Get a Scorsese like gangster film, but it's done
good.
all Muppets.
It's Goodfellas.
Okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
The pattern with these is that it's not 100% Muppets. You've got one or two human characters in there. And I've really been amusing myself this week thinking of The Power of the Dog that's entirely Muppets except for Kirsten Dunst. We're Muppet husband and her Muppet son and her terrible Muppet brother-in-law.
It's just that, like, you need you need the movie where like every like one specific character is being gaslit the entire time, where they think they're going crazy, or like something like that, where she's starting to but you're all Muppets, and they're just like, no, we're not. Like, what are you talking about?
If that's the case, then it's Shutter Island. That's the Scorsese movie. God, so badly do I want to see a Muppet that looks like Mark Ruffalo. He seems like he should be a Muppet. That translate well.
Yeah, he'd be a good Muppet. He'd be a good Muppet in Jade. I wish that Marvel's What If would play with different art styles.
Oh my god.
Because having a
you've hit it.
What If like Marvel Muppet thing would be awesome. Getting some kind of like Marvel anime thing in there, which I know there have been stuff like that in the past, but like that would be awesome.
I'm full in on the Muppets. Like, that's in the Disney
Marvel
family.
Muppets.
They should do a
right.
They should do a Muppet What If that's like It's just Samuel L. Jackson and a bunch of Muppets. Oh
or
my god.
do like if you don't even want to make it like MCU canon or stuff like that, have it be a Muppets show. It's a like it's a Muppets what if thing where it's an anthology series, and they do the whole Archie comics thing where it's like Archie meets Predator, Archie meets whoever, right? It's like the Muppets meet Captain Carter, the Muppets meet Iron Man, the Muppets meet the Avenger, right? Like I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
The Muppets meet the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Do you know Sweetums, the Muppet? I know you don't know many of the Muppets, which is a lesson I'm going to give you one of these days. Sweetums is like that big walk-around Muppet. Like, it's not a puppet, it's like a guy in a suit. And I feel like that's what they do for Hulk. And everybody else is a traditional Muppet, but there's somebody in a full, like, felt Hulk suit.
Yep. Let me get a picture of Sweetums.
What if that's Juggernaut? What if when we get our first, like, outside of the Charles Xavier and Multiverse of Madness, when we get our first mutant, it's like, oh yeah, they're also puppet people.
Interesting.
Who will we cast as the new Storm? No human actor, a puppet.
I think science has gone too far in this case.
We got a Cousin Skeeter this. Remember Cousin Skeeter?
I do remember Cousin Skeeter.
He just was a puppet. They never talked about it. We have to do this more often.
Like, that's the kind of thing that I could see them doing in a weird way with, like, Deadpool or even in She-Hulk, right? Like, she deals with all these, like, weird superhuman law cases and weird, wacky supervillains and all that stuff. Just, like, have a character that's a Muppet, right? And she is a character that breaks the fourth wall and does all of this stuff. So she can talk to us and be like, guys, really? A Muppet? You put a Muppet in this? Come on. This is not the kind of show that has a Muppet in it. But she just has to who
she just has to deal with Rizzo the entire time.
Right? Yeah. Or they haven't brought her to the MCU, but Gwenpool, like, I think that'd be an interesting character to, like, just a Muppet shows up in some kind of, like, Gwenpool show or something like that. I think that would be fascinating. They start getting weird like that.
The format of a Muppet Christmas Carol is that Gonzo plays Charles Dickens and Rizzo plays himself. Rizzo's always himself. And they walk through, like, the narrative, like they're in it and without it. Like, they're not really characters. They're just themselves telling the story. And I would like to see that in other fashions. It's the Avengers. It's the MCU recap up to date. Are you lost by the MCU? Is there too much of it? We edited in Gonzo and Rizzo, and they're going to explain it to you.
So there was, so you know the audio drama Greater Boston.
Yes.
I know you didn't listen to much of it, but I listened to, like, the first 2 seasons, I think. It's fantastic. I think they're just getting on to their 4th season, I think.
Oh.
So I need to go catch up and do all of that stuff. But they had, for a while, they had a Patreon exclusive thing where one of the characters would recap movies, like recent movies that came out. And it was kind of like the thing in Ant-Man where Luis did his, like, so I had a cousin, right? And he said that blah, blah, blah. Like, it was kind of like that, just like that, like, super fast paced mile of a minute. Just like, this is a really weird way to describe and explain this movie. I could see them doing something like that with Muppets. Just like, here, previously on Marvel, and it's all Muppets, but, like, they recap the MC, like, it's a recap of the Infinity Saga, or a recap of the 3 Iron Man movies, or a recap of all the Spider-Man movies to date, so you understand, like, just do that, but with the Muppets.
I've got
That'd be
it.
fantastic.
The Muppet Show itself is about the Muppets putting on a show. It's about the backstage antics and like the performances they're doing and the guest stars that come on. The Muppets Take Manhattan is about them putting on a Broadway show. You could do the Muppets Present Rogers the Musical. They're in it. Kermit is Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I would even love so now we're getting a little bit off track here. I'd like a workplace comedy, but it's Muppets as themselves. Like
they have
not,
done this.
It's
yes,
but not like. So you might need to correct me if I'm wrong here. Then, but not like okay, cut, and then they take off the puppets and it's the actors underneath.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but like the actual Muppets themselves, like making the Muppet movie or a Muppet Christmas kit, but like it's a workplace comedy of them doing their next production. Is that what
this is?
This is
something.
Have?
Yes, they've done
old
this.
News.
I
thought I had it.
You gotta learn, Kyle.
I need to be educated on the Muppets.
We're gonna Muppet you up.
What if we were Muppets? What if just for a whole podcast we were Muppets?
God, we should make puppets of ourselves and just do a puppet podcast where we're sitting below our desks.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Just flapping a paper bag against the microphone.
Well, hello there. My name is Kyle. Welcome to the Captain's Log, number 190. Melissa, what's your favorite Mountain Dew?
Puppets. This is a long-term stretch goal. We've been doing this for like 10 years. We're going to invest in the puppet episode.
Oh, God, that would be great. That'd be wild. I mean, you can kind of make like VTuber stuff, like in animated character, and it will change you into that stuff. You can kind of do that stuff now. So yeah, we just need to like find.
No. We need to make puppets.
No, sure. Yes,
we are going to Michael's.
1000%.
We are making puppets ourselves. We are sitting below our desks.
Well, we'll have to have like fake microphones up top, so we have the actual ones underneath, and they're on us, but we're still like sitting up here, like speaking in the microphone.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog. Hello, welcome to the Captain's Log.
If you donate to our Patreon, you can buy us puppet supplies.
The puppet supply tier.
Yeah.
God, that'd be great. I think that's a great place to end this show for this week. So this has been a lot of fun. But Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other show, Saturday Morning Obscurities. This is a podcast where me and my brother Jams talk about weird old kid shows you feel like only you remember. I think our most recent episode was on The Big O. We had a guest come on who remembered watching The Big O back in the Toonami and Adult Swim days. So we had to talk about some of that show.
God, we need to cover that show again somehow, some way. So myself and Paul, the co-creator of the Whatnauts, who's no longer here at the Whatnauts, we covered it a long time ago on a previous podcast, and it's just like I still don't know if that show is batshit insane or if it's genius. I don't know. It's
an experience.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter, And if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a foe, help us spread the word. That would help us out a ton. And yeah, I guess this has been it for number 190 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.